welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought it was dormant for a while and I do something about it. So I figured I'll show you what I'm playing currently, as I'm not playing Star Wars anymore, I'm not playing Overwatch anymore, and I mostly, when I have free time, play this, which is beyond all reason. A strategy game, real-time strategy game, where you get paired with some teammates to destroy the enemy team. I'm mostly playing PvP. Here it's a game mode where you have 8 players versus 8 players. It's quite different to other RTS games I played before, like AoE, StarCraft, Warcraft, Empire Earth, Stronghold, and these kind of games, because it just works differently than anything that I've played before. At the start of the game, you start with the most overpowered unit there is.
Battle started.
So everyone now spawned in, and we started building our bases with those commander units. First, we are capping the metal spots. These are fixed on the map, so anywhere on the map there are these points. You don't have to put it straight to it, but these points generate metal. So the number is saying how much metal they generate. There are quite some spots on the map to get metal, so you want to push in and you don't want to stay in your base. Once you have your metal extractors, you need to decide whether you're to build solar or wind energy. And in this case, I chosen to build both, because solar is worse, but it's steady. It always generates 20 energy, while wind is generating anywhere between 4 or 18 on this map. So this is quite a different distinguish property of any other games, because each of the maps have different wind speeds, meaning your economy or your buildings will generate different amounts of energy. Here wind is 4, which is really bad, so I decided to put in some solar again. This is to steady out my energy income. Which brings us to those 2 resources that are in the game, metal energy. So metal, you pick the spots and get the metal. Then you build the energy in order to funnel that metal into units. So here I created some constructor bots, which is also another different thing from the other games. You don't need to create more production. You just need to create more constructor units and help them, get them to support the production. That way, you're creating units
Commander
way faster.
self-destructed.
And this is kind of a big deal here, at least in my opinion. Like, you don't have to have 4 or 5 barracks. You just need to create constructor, attach them to lab to support it, and the units gets created faster. It's kind of like a third resource here, and that's build power. Later on, you can also manage to get into the exponential scaling of economy. You can create more energy to create more metal with this energy converters, which are converting extra energy into metal. And then you create more energy to create more metal, to create more energy, to create more metal. And in late game, like, I don't know, 50-minute games, it means that you have a lot of units, a lot of aircraft, a lot of everything, and you basically create this crescendo of match where you start by these tier 1 units, which is the most cheap units, into some like tier 3 units, which are like big great mechs that explode nuclear explosion when they die. Which is something also different from other games, like in AoE or in StarCraft. When you mine your gas and the map is mined out, you are going back to Marines and Zerglings. Here, not really. So I think those are kind of the basics of the game. You need to get to the front, you're fighting with your units, you're building energy, you're capping the metal spots, sometimes geothermal spots, which is fixed points of the map where you can build
Commander
geoplants.
self-destructed.
Here the guy is building it. And this is kind of like the most efficient like energy source you can get on any map. So yeah, those are the basics. Now let's meet our team. So for the blue team, we have Farinor against J1013, Bear Slayer against Freaky Boss, Zot against Sherlock, Saivash against Soliloquer, Disnov against Kilpikona, and Mostriker against Griff, myself. And as air player we have Buffalo Soldier against Tarkus, and eco player is Joe8888 against Tripa Snipa. So some of these players have their roles, like the brown player and this blue player is creating economy and rushing to tier 2 to provide those tier 2 units to the team. And Buffalo Soldier with Tarkus, those are air players who are focusing on supporting the team with the airplanes. Here we can see them flying above. Gunship looks very cool. In the game, there are
Commander
three
self-destructed
factions. There is Cortex, which is here in the south. Then there is Armada. Zod is playing Armada. And Legion. Tarkus is playing Legion. So these are the factions. Their units are quite similar. They have some niches, but Legion is kind of like in progress at the moment. Like it's getting created and balanced and all that, so I'm not quite sure what is the
Commander destroyed.
what's the mindset for these units. But for Cortex it's like beefy, strong units. For Armada, agile, niche units that are quick and a bit more microable, I would say. There is one thing that I've not yet mentioned, which is Reclaim. Reclaim is something we've seen some of the commanders here die by self-destruction near their bases, and that's because the guy who went for T2 Lab, which is very expensive, it takes 2,600 metal, which is like he has +6 per second, so he needed to get a lot of metal. So he decided to blow his commander up, and that wreckage can be reclaimed to get the metal and to basically feed himself more metal to get this T2 lab going quicker. And that applies to every unit here. You can see these wreckages, like 90 metal here. Dead pawn, 32 metal. So any push you win, you can reclaim or resurrect these and have more units or more metal than your opponent. Same way, if you get attacked and you fend off that attack, you can then resurrect it and use basically your enemy units to your advantage. Here you can see we pushed in with my help, with the help of Kilpikona, and we are reclaiming. and we are feeding ourselves the metal. Oh, I just stopped eating. Never mind. So, here we can see the Zod flanked with 2 rocket bots, which have higher range than this light laser tower, but the laser tower is getting repaired, so it's not going to go down. But it's some nice aggression. You can see the red team decided to build gauntlets, which is, you can see the huge range on this. It's an artillery tower, so they want to lock this middle section of the map down, which works. We cannot get to these mexes, which means we are worse on metal produced on our team. But as a saving grace here, we are capturing this high ground, and we are not letting anyone go here. Where we basically got some extra metal extractors that we can use to funnel into our production. So for now we are still on tier 1 mostly everywhere, and our tech player is gifting tier 2 constructors to his teammates. And these tier 2 constructors
Commander destroyed.
And start upgrading these metal extractors. And once upgraded, they produce 4 times more metal, which is getting us to that scaling point of more metal than our enemy. Enemy also managed to get their metal extractors to tier 2. They need more energy to function, so they also need to scale the energy a bit, which is why the brown player decided to go for fusion reactor, which is one of the ways you can get to that scaling economy quite soon. And here you can see that the enemy is causing problems, which is right. We kinda don't want to lose these units, but we want to start doing something with them. Preferably go to kill commander or the base, because we are really near it. But if we lose it, they can resurrect, reclaim it, and then push us back, which is also something that we don't want. I mentioned at the start that the commander is the most OP unit. It has cloak, which is stealth, and it has a D-gun. D-guns are... well, this one is going down for sure. This is the D-gun. It basically kills
Commander
anything.
destroyed.
Like any unit, no matter the health, will just be one shot. I hear you say, like, why do we get 8 commanders at the start of the game? Like, isn't that a bit too much overpowered? Like, they're quite slow, but they are really good. Like, they can one-shot kill anything, they can go cloaked, and they can build bases. But the win condition with this game, aside from like resigning and is to kill enemy commanders, kill all of them. So if here we see some great bush. We are getting stopped by mosquitoes, dune-looking opticopter things, or helicopter things. I'm not sure. I'm not that a huge fan of the dune, but they look cool as hell. So we managed to kill the red base. I lost all of my units, and you can see there is 2.8 metal, 2.8k metal here, 3k. It's a huge metal win for the team, but they lost their best player, which was in this case the red player. So he lost the pace, but his teammate is reclaiming it in order to get some more of his eco going and hopefully save this flank. Siavash is returning the favor. With me killing his opponent, he decides to try to kill mine. He hadn't succeeded, but almost. And there is another march of thugs. One of the tier 1 units. I always love it. It's so zoomed out that you can see the action. On the mid, blue player decided to go tier 2, very upfront, to get the units quicker to the front line, and he decided for the fat boy, which is a great unit. It has a huge AoE, it's beefy, lots of HP, it's a backbone of early tier 2 pushes. Air players are scaling their economy with lots of wind, some fusion. Blue is staying on wind mostly. I've gotten some tier 2 constructor from our player Joe, and that tier 2 constructor is getting some metal extractors upgraded to get our income better. So far we are finally getting some more metal produced, which means that we are getting more metal per second than the enemy team. It's not something that you would see in the game. It's just a spectator HUD, so you don't know if you're producing more or less. At least not from this. You can probably scout with air units to find out. And one thing that is fairly not something that's visible from this spectator thing is that if I select here player view, you can see how dark the map is. Like we've been able to see everything going on, which is great, but when you play, you don't see it. You need to put radars. You can place anti-radars so you don't see anything. So here, nobody knows what's there. Like you can see that some units go here but disappear. It's because there is anti-radar here, which is this thing, and that blocks the radar vision. Similar on our side, we have a bit more vision because we have more radars here. And the enemy got some anti-radar here, but we have some vision because we are actually attacking now. So Kilpikona has switched from the thugs into brutes, which are tanks. So he reclaimed the lab for the bots, which is what I had here before, and he switched to tanks, which are really good at pushing through the enemy defenses. And you can see here the Freakabus is trying to degun the tanks coming.
Commander
succeeding,
destroyed.
but few of them manage to get through. They'll start to wreck.
Commander destroyed.
But these construction turrets, they didn't let it happen. Now there is T2 push, so these are the early tier 2 units, hounds, and they are starting to push our thugs. When I saw it in the game, I thought I need a tier 2 lab, like ASAP, so I made one on the front line, very risky, like if they push this location, it's gonna be a huge setback, because they can reclaim it, even resurrect it, and they'll have a huge advantage. But I'm confident that we can hold it, hopefully. Even though my teammate is already pushing tanks to the other side of the map. He still has some turrets here. So that's something. You can see the red player is already resigned. I don't blame him. Not sure why the air player resigned. But
Commander destroyed.
I think they didn't have a belief in their team. It's understandable. Like there's a fat boy in the mid. The bottom side is holding hostage the bases almost, and the yellow he's holding very well considering that the mid is collapsing. I'm sure that Kirkipona will probably not let that happen for long, as he's pushing with a new set of tanks. It looks like he's going for orange. Decurion. This is a Legion unit. It has a machine gun. Very quick to fire, very slow to the right. Ah, he went for yellow, bypassing all of his defense, and even though vehicles have some difficulties coming up, he's managing to punch through. Oh, we missed some push here that was disassembled by the mosquitoes and a line of Sheldons. Sheldons are great. They are this very microbial unit that can shoot far and shoot while running back as well. And the enemy now has just one commander. It means that here, if this snuff dies, it's over for red team. Which might happen quite soon. There's a Spectre, which is a stealth bot. It's giving me vision, and he's going down. He can't stop it.
Commander destroyed.
The blue team wins. So this is what I've been up to, playing this. And yeah, I might do some more videos. Who knows?
Battle ended.
I hope you enjoyed. See ya.